can't put some nipples on screen. We might get banned.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Vinny's Corner. Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening, enjoying some football. Good to see everybody after the Thanksgiving holiday from my American fellows. And say hello to my co-host, Cove.
Right.
Good to be back. All right, real quick, I just want to get this shared onto the socials. Hopefully that is not an issue. Let's see here. Are we up yet on X? Yes, we are. Boom. There we go. All right. Share via direct message. 2, 1, 2. Let's see here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I just messed that up completely. I'm trying to get this shared right, and I accidentally unshared it to multiple people instead of sharing it. Boom, that's it. Oh, yeah, there's the other one. That's the other one. Okay. And hold on a second here. Thank you, guys. Bear with me. We are live. All right. So what's going on, my man Cove? How are you today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
This guy got the whole bedroom in the background.
Yeah.
So, guys, thanks for tuning in. A couple of things that we always are talking about here, because Vinny does love boxing. Before we jump into the NFL and the NFC, or the battle for the NFC North, as I labeled it, which, by the way, the Detroit Lions are winning right now. It is 7-0 in the second quarter. So some interesting developments in boxing this week. As many of you guys may know, we're about 18 days out from Alexander Usyk and the famous, or infamous to some people, Tyson Fury rematch. That is for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world. Kind of a big one. I love it. I think Usyk's going to win again. But there's been a big rumor going around. I've sent out some media about it as to the okay, that's going well. As to Canelo and Crawford potentially fighting each other in 2025. Crawford put out a tweet today saying he's going to show his greatness to the world in 2025 as negotiations have kicked off this week between the two parties. So I thought that was fantastic. Kind of the other little thing I just like to touch on before football, for any of our fans out there that are WWE guys, and I know a lot of folks that mess with We Like Sports are, Survivor Series was kick ass. For those that don't know, the OG Bloodline did win. It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome match. It was really cool, actually. So with that being said, as you can see here, my co-host Cove is, I don't know what he's doing over there. It looks like he's getting ready to go out on a hot date or something. All right. But we do have the battle for the NFC North, or the NFC North, which is pretty exciting. Now, a lot of people that I know have been saying that they think, with the spread at least, that Green Bay was going to take this game. And many others said, and I said the same thing, that I kind of feel like Green Bay could take this game outright. Cove, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Good. Yeah, no, I feel like the Lions can take this game.
Hold on. I hear you just now.
What?
Oh, it was muted. I couldn't hear anything. Oh, and show off the sweatshirt real quick so we can give it a quick shout out. So, guys, as you may see, Cove has Milky Biscuits written there, and he's rocking the Milky Biscuits radio sweatshirt. That's his brand. You can check out his website online. It's Milky Biscuits.
It's on my Twitter, on my.
It's on his X. Okay, so you can check that out there. But he's got a bunch of merchandise, as well as a lot of different coffee products and some other energy, pre-workout, like workout stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Little everything. I love it.
Little everything.
Nice. All right, so to kind of just jump into it this week, we always have like our weekly questions to kind of guide us, just to talk through sports a little bit. Before we do that, something that's kind of been rattling me, so I want to ask you about it. We see the Juan Soto thing going on, right? And this has become like, major news in the MLB world. the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets being potential suitors for this guy. I don't think the Dodgers are going to pick him up. I don't think they're going to match the highest offer. I don't think they have a need to be perfectly honest. What do you think? Which one of these 4 teams does he end up with? My Yankees, or is he going somewhere else?
Well, from what I'm reading, is it still keeps saying that the Mets have the best chance.
You think so?
And the Dodgers, they did release it saying after getting Snell that if they try, because he deferred money too, he's like, if they try to get him, they'll just defer $1 billion in debt. Like, it's like insane. It's insane. There'll be $1 billion in debt if they have him defer any contract.
Well, so here's the thing, right? And this is the way that people look at this issue in the modern era. Let's just say the Dodgers the organization, the owning parties of the Dodgers choose to sell them off in the next 5 years. They're just selling off and transferring that debt to somebody else.
Yeah.
So they don't really care, right? That's how they look at it. It's like, well, we can make this much money on it anyway. And they anticipate making billions of dollars with this team that they've now put together. But there's also the possibility that they literally just sell and transfer that debt to somebody else. So,
well, that was
it's kind of like
when they got Shohei, the amount of money that they made his contract in the first year of grabbing him. So now it's all profit for them.
And listen, here's the thing. And I was telling some other guys this. It's possible to be done by every team in baseball. The other teams are just choosing not to do it, right?
Yeah.
So if they're not making those moves, like my Yankees are not doing that, right? I got the LA shirt on today too. It's not Dodgers though, okay?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. It's a workout brand called Dark Sport. Shout out to Dark Sport. You guys are going to be my next sponsor, I hope. But anyhow, right? Where is the commitment to win by these other big clubs if they're not making that move, right? If the Yankees know they can do it, but here's the thing about a team like the Yankees, the Steinbrenners don't plan on letting go of this organization ever, right? And so for them, they look at deferring $1 billion in debt as just another debt that they're going to have to carry because at some point they believe
not Hal. Hal's trying to save money. And
that's what I'm saying, right? And so like in his situation, he knows he's like, nah, I'm not going to do this because that's just debt my family's going to take on because we're not selling the Yankees, right? Yeah. So it's just like it's a different mindset, but right now I can't argue with what the Dodgers are doing. I feel like they went all in. They're going all in. They just continue to impress with this deferral move, with the amount of money they're putting out there. And the commitment to win by them is very apparent. So, You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really no hate I can throw. I can't throw any shade their way, like whatever, LA, New York, blah, blah, blah. It's spectacular to see. I love what they're doing. I hope more teams in the league follow suit and put why not put these big contracts out? At this point, you might as well, right?
But they did state that Soto will announce by winter meetings where he's going. So that'll be next week.
I know. And, it kind of sucks. I was hoping he would tell us this week.
Yeah. I think I
don't want to go through another weekend of this.
And they're probably waiting for like other teams to do that. Everybody who's got money in on this right now has got money in on this. But as soon as he says no to whoever he says no to, you're gonna see a slew of signings.
I agree, and that's usually.
I don't know if you remember this when Peyton Manning went on his 3-day hiatus of waiting to where he wanted to sign. Nobody spent a single dollar, and then as soon as Peyton Manning decided to sign with Denver, all of a sudden we had like 19 signings in a day because everybody had deferred money waiting.
It becomes a free for all, and I expect the same thing to happen. I'm not going to be surprised when it does. I'm just hoping that my Yankees will choose to stay competitive. What is that a cigarette?
I mean, the Yankees threw money in there, but he turned down a 15-year $440 deal by the Nationals after winning the championship.
Well, So
isn't
really he now okay? 15 years is a lot of years, right?
Yeah.
But now he's looking at deals upwards of $600 million.
Yeah.
So he knows he can get it. He's going to push for it. Right now, right? He's already got a ring. I don't think he really cares.
He's got two rings.
Okay, so he's got 2 rings already. He's done the New York thing. He's been in DC. He might just, spin the ball. He might go to Boston next. I would be pissed, but he might.
Somebody put out a graphic that had him and Vlad Guerrero Jr. in Boston, and it went wild.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised by that, and I honestly that would be a great move for Vlad if I'm being real.
Liked it. That was the crazy. Vlad liked it.
Of course he did. They're gonna stir the pot. You know that these guys, they're all for it. I love it. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, I love it. So now just jump in, because obviously it's that time of year. Free agency and baseball is one thing, but it's football season, right? We've got arguably the best team in the game right now, the 11-1 Detroit Lions, up 10-0 against the 9-3, one of the arguably hottest teams in baseball, the Green Bay Packers. Some people are saying that with Jordan Love starting to get hot, that they might be the most dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah, he already had his little injury, so he's back and healthy. So,
and this is what he did last year. Was his first full season starting, right? And he did the same thing last year, right around Thanksgiving. He jumped off, and he was lights out from there. In his last 3 games, he's thrown six touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So and he's had not a QBR. He's had a passer rating over 100 every game. So, they've got all the right components. The team is really solid. Can they get it together today and knock off the Lions? And what do you think? What are the key factors in doing it?
Time management. That's the one thing with Detroit. Detroit knows how to time manage. And that's what they're holding the ball long. Goff's not throwing a lot. He's run game. He has got the RPO. He's got everything. He's got all the options, and that's all they do. He's just clock management. That's all the Packers got to do is the same thing.
So, the Packers, here's what the Packers are doing good so far tonight. It's already the middle of the second quarter, and between Montgomery and Gibbs, they only have 33 yards rushing total, right? Yeah. So they're slowing them down on the rush, which is huge. Goff's pretty standard, 8 for 13, 74 yards. Goff does what Goff does. Yeah. And unless you can rattle him, which is not the easiest thing to do, right? He's had one game this season that was that 5-pick atrocious night. But other than that, he's been rock solid. So,
yeah.
And now that they're up 10-0, it's in Detroit. I was thinking the Packers, but now I kind of feel like it's Detroit. I mean, it's obviously Detroit's game to lose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they can get out of this deficit of 10-0. But you know what? They're going to have to put some points on the board sooner than later if they want to. They're working towards scoring. They're in the plus side of the field, right? So I think they're almost in the red zone now, right? They're on the 25 right now. So it's definitely possible that they get on the board here in a couple minutes. Thank God for Amazon Prime Video because they have the best broadcast. Love them. But, this is an interesting game to watch. And I think that this is huge playoff implications. You know what I mean? There's a part of me, and you can tell me what you think about this, but I kind of feel like because of the injuries and Detroit's managed them amazing. Green Bay is really dangerous, but I'm just starting to feel like the Eagles are going to be the team in the NFC.
Barkley's going after the record.
If he can break Dickerson's record, he slowed down a little bit last week, but it would be listen, I'm a Giants fan. I wouldn't say I'd be happy about it, because obviously sucks. He left our team, fired Joe Shane. Let's just throw that at the same time. But I would be really happy for the guy. He wanted to be a lifelong Giant. The Giants weren't willing to play ball. He found a better situation with arguably the best offensive line in football, and it's working out and paying dividends week in and week out. So I really don't have too much I can complain about for it. I'd be happy for the guy. But Do you think that they are a Super Bowl bound team?
There.
Yeah.
Barkley's on a, and when you got a run game that's on a different level, it's a different level.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, to me, the NFC Championship should be, the Eagles and the Lions. And I just I don't, as good as Detroit's defense is, they have a lot of injuries, and they've been able to just keep, the next guy just keeps stepping up. The next guy keeps stepping up. But I mean, if everybody was watching college football, in the last few years, that Georgia defense has essentially become an NFL defense, and now it is the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and they're lights out. They're really good. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who they play, they win, and they're on a roll at this point. So to me, they're the team to beat in the NFC. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Cove's questions for the week, right? And I'll pass it over to your direction. We already answered the first one, obviously, talking about the Packers and the Detroit Lions. So what do we got next coming up, Cove?
The Atlanta Falcons facing on against the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think of you to upset the Vikings?
Bench cooked Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a dub. That guy is not a winner anymore. I'm sorry. I had faith. He was doing his thing a little bit in the beginning of the season, but I mean, let's just call it what it is. The guy looks abysmal game after game lately. He has not been able to put it together. He has become a detriment to his own offense, and so to me, it's kind of tough, right? They're gonna start him this week, no question. But I just don't see he gets rattled fairly easily, I feel like, and no one brings more pressure than the Minnesota Vikings. That's what they're known for. They're the number one team for pressure in the NFL this season. And nobody's even talking about them in the NFC North.
No, but we've talked about this before. The Vikings, they can start 10-2 and then fall right off.
But okay, so we've been talking about this all year, right? And so is everyone else who's in football. When's Sam Darnold going to become Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this is Sam Darnold, but going to the Panthers and the Jets, those are two of the most dysfunctional, pardon my language, those are just fucked organizations, right? And so maybe it just took him getting to a stable organization that has an identity to build upon, right? He's got all the weapons. I mean, Aaron Jones is doing his thing. He's not lights out, but he's a good running back. I mean, he's got Addison and he's got Justin Jefferson. I feel like at this point, and of course, what O'Connell's put together for him as an offensive scheme with these quick release passes that he's doing. I don't know, man. I think this is Sam Darnold. I don't think there's going to be a reverting back. I think they're probably they're the most dangerous team, wild, because they're going to be a wild card at this point, most likely, right? They're the most dangerous wild card out there.
Oh yeah, Minnesota can turn it up.
Now that's in the NFC at least, because the AFC's got some power to it, right? So we'll get to that side of things, but I don't know. I mean, do you think there's anything the Falcons can do to beat this team this week? Not throw 4 picks?
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah. The only way Atlanta's going to win this one is going to be a Kirk Cousins special with the last second Hail Mary kind of throw. That's what's going to be,
Okay. I could see that. Okay. Oh, no. What? Oh, so there was a flag in the end zone just now, but there was also an interception. So I don't really know what just happened, but it looks like it's going to be a pass interference call, and that sucks. It was 3rd and goal, so they were about to have them at a field goal, but Green Bay's got a few more downs now to punch it in. So we'll see what happens here, though. I don't know, man. I still think the Lions just look so tough, but. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see the Falcons doing it. Sorry to my boy Ryan if he's watching. I think Kirk Cousins is now cooked Cousins. And hopefully, this is my hope. I hope he gets smoked this week. And and the team says, you know what? It's time to bench this guy and bring in Penix. Like, you went and drafted this guy in the first round for a reason, right? I would love to see him get some burn. And I like Penix in college. I think he could be a stud.
Yeah.
So, all right, what's the next game we're looking at for this week?
So Seattle takes on Arizona. Which team do you think has the edge? And what storylines are the most excited to follow in this matchup?
Seattle and Arizona. This is the second meeting between these guys, right, this season. Well, so right off the bat, if Arizona wins, they're tied for first place.
Yeah.
Right? So that's huge. Kyler Murray was starting to look amazing in the first half of the year. He's had a little bit of a drop-off. What's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr.? I think there's a few things to look at, but I kind of feel like my guy Geno Smith from West Virginia University, my boy, I feel like he's going to be able to do his thing again. You know, it's one of those games that I feel like the Chargers are in control of their own. The Seahawks, excuse me, are in control of their own destiny at this point. I don't see them. I just feel like they come out of this week 8-5, like outright, just beat this team up. You know, they showed some real resilience last week, right? They came back and took that game from the Jets. Not that the Jets are good, but I don't know. I mean, I like what I've seen from Seattle. I think that they're playing tough defense, and I like the identity on the offense now, you know, led by Geno Smith is straight grit now, man. I like him. He's my guy. What do you think?
I mean, it's a playoff potential game because you lose this game, you're one game back. You win this game, you're tied. So this is important for both teams to keep their playoff hopes alive, basically.
Right. So right now, hold on, I'm trying to pull up my standings. But right now, Seattle's in first in that division.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't I get the NFL standings here? What's going on? There we go, standings. So, right, and Seattle beat them the first time too. So, let's see here. Let's see what we got. NFC West. This week, this is really what this week does. This week opens it up for the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of people think the Los Angeles Rams have what it takes to come back and take this division. If Seattle wins this game, you know, they advance themselves. That 8-5 record is a huge bonus. The Rams are tied for second, 6-6 also, with Arizona. So it's kind of like, you know, but here's the problem:
if Cardinals lose, they have 11% chance of making the playoffs. If they win, they have a 61% chance of making the playoffs. So that's a huge.
And here's the thing: in conference, and so actually, let's look at division. Forget in conference. Each team has 2 wins within the division, right? A lot of those are over San Francisco. But you know, I mean, I like this one. I really want to see Geno Smith in the playoffs. I want to see Seattle bring it back. I think it's theirs to lose, you know, to be honest. Seattle for the rest of the season. Let's look at their schedule. So to close out the season, Seattle's got, wow. Oh, wow, this is brutal. Seattle has to win this game. After the Arizona game, Seattle has Green Bay and then Minnesota right after. So those are very tough games to win for them, right? So they need to win this game so they can assert themselves in that first place position, right? It's huge for them at this point. And then they got the Bears after that. That's a very winnable one, but you never know. And then they finish the season against the Rams. So this is a key game. This is a key game for Seattle to assert themselves as that team in the division. I don't think San Francisco's coming back. I think they're out of it this year, you know, and it is what it is. I think they're kind of past, you know. I think with all the injuries, I don't know that this core of people in San Francisco ever comes back. So, yeah. You know, all right. So moving right along, what do we? Oh, we're staying in the NFC West. I like this. What we got?
No, we're moving. I think you missed off on that one. So the Buffalo Bills will be going against the LA Rams. That's why you said NFC West.
Yes,
But
exactly.
it's the Bills versus the Rams. So how crucial is this game for the Rams in the pursuit of a playoff spot? And can they rise to the occasion? I don't think they can.
So this is my right. Sorry, continue.
The Bills took out KC, so they're going to be easily taking out the Rams.
The Bills are arguably the best team in football, right? They're probably the best team in the AFC, and everyone says the AFC is stronger. I don't know. I feel like the NFC can hold their own right now.
Yeah.
But with that being said, and this goes to my point, right? In the NFC West, let's just assume the Rams are going to lose this game, right? This next, right? So the Rams lose this, they become 6-7. If they can get Arizona wins, they can get tied for first with Seattle. But if Seattle wins, Seattle can start to pull away in that division. Yeah. So this is a really big week. That's a big division rival game. But yeah, I don't see the Rams. I love Stafford. The Rams, they've got some good moving parts, but I mean, the Bills are just doing what the Bills do, especially in the regular season. They're badass. You know what I mean? And this is the best version of the Bills we've seen in the last 5 years. So, I have no reason to think that that's going to change. All right. So and this is a good one too, I think, but the next game you brought up here is an AFC West game. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, here's my thing with this game. I feel like this should be a no-brainer, but the offense in KC hasn't really looked that hot yet. No. The Chargers do have a really solid defense.
Yeah, they barely won last week.
Yeah.
And if you look at the playoff picture right now, the Ravens might not make the playoffs.
Can we talk about, just real quick, the way that the Chiefs won? Oh, my God. That was the most painful loss I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Like, I was like, maybe they're gonna bring it back. But when they were like, nope, that's game, I was like, wow, I can't fucking believe it. That was different, man. That was really something else. But here's the thing, right? Everyone doubts the Chiefs. Everyone doubted the Chiefs last year, right?
Everybody thinks that the Chiefs have the referees in their pocket.
Listen, man, I don't believe if there was a script writer in sports, it's definitely in the NFL. The NFL is the best script writers going, but I really don't think this is what I think. I think that everyone out there, myself included, sometimes, I like to see good football, and the Chiefs are good football. Everyone is just so sick of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs that
we dealt with that for 10 years with Brady. So come on.
Exactly. You always, when you watch it, even if it's the right call, you're like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. That should have went against the cheat. It's one of those things. People love to hate. That's America. We love to hate. So
look at this example from 2000 to 2016, just that range of errors. What was it? Tom went to 9 Super Bowls at that point, or 8 Super Bowls at that point, and Manning went to 4. So out of 15 years, you either had Peyton Manning or Tom Brady in the Super Bowl in 12 to 15 years.
Well, it gets old for some people, right? My thing is that we may never, and of course, right, you can always say this, but we may never see somebody that's just like, I don't care about how this season has looked thus far. I will gauge Pat Mahomes based on the playoffs exclusively because I think he's earned that. I think he's the best football player in the world. Mm-hmm. That's my personal opinion. I think there's nobody like Pat. Playoff Pat is the scariest thing going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so I like to watch stuff like that. I want to watch a special athlete kill it. You know what I mean? I have no problem with that. even if it's in the AFC and not on my Giants. I still want to see it, right? Because it's awesome. So now just going back to this game, it's you never know, right? The Chargers defense has looked amazing this whole season. Harbaugh's done a wonderful job with them. But at the end of the day, the team is still mid at best. I can't really say too much more than that.
But it's the Chargers, though. They're always mid at best.
Even when they were 14-2 with Phil Rivers, they were still mid because you knew what you were going to get when the playoffs came.
Yeah.
And you listen, that's the reality of it. I don't expect, and it's a division game. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think the Chiefs are going to win every division game
once, right? So like it happens.
Yeah, but listen, anything can happen, but I think the Chiefs are going to go 8-0 in their division this year. Just my opinion. So I guess we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But listen, I'm betting on Patrick Mahomes to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Like, you know, other people can say what they want, but I have no reason to go against him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am not a Chiefs fan by any means, but when the playoffs started last year, every bet that I made in the NFL was on the Chiefs. Yeah. And they cooked all the prop bets, the game, they cooked them all. It was amazing. So I'm sticking with that. All right, guys. So, you know, we kind of do a little move around through sports thing. We already hit, I talked my little boxing thing at the beginning because I got to. We're talking NFL, and we're always going to go back to the game if it's on. I have it in the background. The next place that we look is the NBA.
Yeah.
So the NBA has been kind of interesting. Before we jump into the questions, a couple of things. First, the NBA Cup, right? A lot of people are just like, whatever, it's BS, it's nonsense. But my Knicks look awesome in it. So for me, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, your Knicks look great. Great.
And, I have no issue with that. Obviously, there's still a lot, like, in the Eastern Conference, there are just better teams. There's no other way to say it. But, either way, I just want to take a quick look at what the scores are looking like tonight. Fourth quarter, the Knicks are up 109-83. Let's fucking go, New York. We're doing our thing. The Thunder are obviously smoking the Raptors right now. It's 105-81. And then you got some competitive sport going on. The Suns and the Pelicans are 76-72 in the third, and the Kings and the Grizzlies are 71-69. So there are some good games going on. But the other thing I wanted to touch on is what is going on in Los Angeles. The Lakers lost by 41 points last night in Miami.
Yeah.
That was like, is it finally that time? Like, I heard this on another radio show today. They said that this season for LA is not about for the Lakers, not the Clippers. I mean, who's talking about the Clippers, right? But they said this season is not about them winning anything. Yeah. It's about LeBron playing as many games as he can and LeBron playing basketball with his son.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that.
Then go join a rec league if you want that. This is the NBA.
But that's what it looks like, right? I mean, okay, first of all,
it's what it looks like. But if you're here just to let father-son play, go join a rec league.
Nobody, their whole team doesn't play defense. None of them. LeBron was the only one who even attempted to pretend playing defense last night. It was one of the more embarrassing games I've seen in a while. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised. I'm not, LeBron's old.
Yeah.
He's still a physical specimen, but when you're playing with a bunch of guys who are like 20 to 25 years old, the way that a 25-year-old can run up and down a court, they can play offense and defense all night long. 40 minutes in, they're still cooking. It's not that easy for a guy his age. And he is still the leader of that team. So, it's pretty weak. Now, with that being said, what do we got? Did they score? Touchdown. So it looks like it's 7-16 now. They got to kick the extra point, but the Detroit Lions continue to be the Detroit Lions. There's about 50 seconds left in the half. So, oh no, wait. It looks like they might be taking it back. They put the points up on the board, but now they're saying it's 3rd and goal. So, let's take that back. But I don't know, man. The Lions look like they're doing their thing. I think they'll punch it in. So, now jumping into our NBA questions for the week. Where are we starting out?
Where we starting here is with the Hawks having a home-heavy December. What impact do you think playing at State Farm Arena will have on their overall performance this month, especially as they prepare for their lengthy road trip?
That's a good question. So the Hawks stink. They're barely above 500 right now.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there to start. Their team leader, Trae Young, is averaging about 20 points a game.
But they were 6-11. Now they're 12. I mean, they won 5 in a row.
And so they've started that. So hear me out. So they started to put it together. Again, they're a team who they have talent on the team. You know what I mean? Capella's good. Bogdanovich, Daniels. I mean, they have some good guys on the squad. Not to kind of take anything away from them by any means. I guess here's what I see as the big problem, or one of the big problems for them. They need to come out of this homestand. They need to continue this run. If they can come out of this, with win the next 4 games, right? That would be huge. But it's kind of tough to say. Like right now, they've got it. So tomorrow night they have the Lakers. Okay,
yeah,
they should beat the Lakers, right? They're 5-0 in their last 5 games. The Lakers, LeBron's questionable with his foot. I wouldn't necessarily, 6-0 is definitely possible. Then they have the Nuggets. That can be a tough game, right? So the Nuggets could throw a monkey wrench in that. And then they go back on the road to New York. Okay. And that's always a tough contested game. But New York has really started to get it together defensively. So it would behoove this team to win these 2 games at home, right? Finish out this week 7-0. That would be huge. I mean, and it really kind of pushes them ahead in the conference because right now they're 12-11, right? They're just over 500. So, having a nice little homestand, I think it only helps when you're 5-0, in your last 5 games. Let me, just say that. But the East is tough right now. The East is tough, man. I love saying that out loud. The East is tough, right? So, if they want a chance at being competitive this season, you know what I mean? And getting into the playoffs, then they need to. And I mean, beating a team like the Bucks, right? To continue this role that they're on, it's big. The Bucks, I mean, the leading scorer in the league this season is Giannis. So it's definitely important, right? There you go. Okay, now it's in. Gibbs scored the touchdown. There you go. Jahmyr Gibbs scores. So, and there's 11 seconds left on the clock, so they'll likely go into the half up 17-7. Now back to the NBA. Listen, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta was already knocked out of the NBA Cup, right? The quarterfinals are set. So, I'm sorry, they're not. The game that they play the Knicks in is an NBA Cup game. So winning these next 2 games would be huge for them because New York's an 8.5-point favorite right now. Going into New York with a 14-11 record is a lot different than a 12-11 record, especially off a 7-0 run, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is what I think. To answer your question in short, right? this little homestand, these next 2 games, they need to win them. It's important because they're going, if they want to compete in this NBA Cup and because they're playing a division rival in that game in New York, they need to do what they got to do because going into New York off a loss is not going to make it any easier at MSG. Not at all.
No.
So I think that's probably the easiest way to say it. Now we move to the Celtics. Keep it in the East, right?
Yeah, they are 9-2 at home, 9-2 on the road. So they're fairing out. But the question we have is the Celtics are enjoying a favorable home schedule this December. How do you think this advantage will affect their playoff positioning, especially given their upcoming stretch of 5 games in 7 days? I don't think it doesn't slow them down. They've been on par for they win 3, they lose 1. They lose 3, they lose 1. I don't think it affects them at all.
The Celtics, listen, OKC is doing great this season. So are the Cavs. But as far as I'm concerned, the Celtics are still the team to beat.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any difference. They can win at home. They can win it away. They can win with threes. They can win in the paint, and they play defense. They're a team that plays defense. So they're just a hard matchup for anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Simple enough. Now.
Yeah. Considering the Nets' struggles with the Eastern Conference, but success against the Western Conference, what adjustments do you believe they have to make to improve their performance against Eastern rivals?
This is the Nets.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Nets are they have some parts, that work on that team, right?
They're 4-12 in their conference, so
and this is the thing. It's not the East is tough right now.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's kind of I don't know, Cam Thomas really needs to he's just got to be the leader when they play in the East. You know what I mean? Simple enough. He's guys scoring almost 25 points a game, right? He's got Claxton there with them. And then, you've got guys like Simmons on the team. Simmons is not an offensive powerhouse by any means. He's purely defensive. But to compete in the East right now, honestly, I don't see it. I just don't see it for this team this season.
Yeah, they're 0-5 in their own division, so that's going to kill you.
What they need to do, they need at some point they're going to, and we'll see. Here's what has to happen for them, right? They need to get above 500. If they get above 500, then it will make sense to make some in-season moves, look to bring 1 or 2 guys in who could change the dynamic on that team and be more of a force in the East. But right now, they're just, you know what I mean? Right now, you kind of look at them and chalk them up as a W.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a hater. You know what I mean? They're in New York. They're not my Knicks. So, I like seeing them do bad.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So, the Mavericks are currently one of the hottest teams in the league, winning 9 of the last 10. What do you think has been the key factor behind their recent success, and can they maintain the momentum going forward?
The Mavericks. Well, okay. I mean, you've got the obvious part, right? Hold on. Let me just get out of these Brooklyn Nets. I've got them all over my screen right now. Can't stand them. And so here's crazy, right? They've won 9 of their last 10, and that's helped them tremendously because now they're in 3rd in their division. They were not. They were doing quite poor for a minute there. Now, just to look at some of the bigger stats on the team, Doncic obviously is always a huge piece on it, but I think you got to look at the defensive side of the ball for them, right? Yeah. We know this team can score quite a bit. Irving's averaging 24 points a game. Doncic's averaging 29 points a game. Their whole starting squad is averaging double digits, so we know the team can score a lot of points. But Doncic is getting a lot of steals going on, almost 2 a game now. And I think that really the defensive side of the ball for them is where it counts. They've started to play some sound defense. They've looked a lot better on that side of things, and that's helped them a lot. So for me, I think that's the important part of where it's got to be. If you look at their last 10 games, right? Okay, so let me read out some of their competition. Held one team to 91 points, held one team to 101 points, held one team to 94 points, right? And then when they're giving up points and teams are scoring 115, 120, 125, they're scoring 130, 137, 129. So they know how to score. They know they can outscore pretty much any opponent in the league. It's about that sound defense, because in a game, right? So when they played Utah, they only scored 106 points, but they held Utah under 100.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, but then when they were in Portland scored 131, they scored 137. So they've got a little bit of a formula going there, and it's working for them, but they need to be more consistent, I feel like, on the defensive side of the ball, because if you're like in this 10 stretch that they've won, there's 131 points against them, 120 points against them, 119 against them. Teams are scoring, right? So that's not going to last every game. In some games, they're going to have off nights. To me, what's really worked in stringing 10 it was 8 wins in a row, right? They won 1, lost 1, and then won 8 more in a row. And, they won 3, lost 1, and then won 6 more in a row. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But, right, again, in that stretch, you got a team held to 93 points, a team held to 91 points, a team held to 94 points, a team held to 101 points. 4 of the 9 wins, they kept the team to 100 points or under, basically. And when it gets like, what couldn't they do when they were in the finals last year? They couldn't stop the Celtics from scoring. They had no defensive answer for them.
Yeah.
For me, that's been the change for this team this year. I'd like to see more consistent. Right now, if I'm looking at these wins and losses, it looks like they play defense one game, then the next game they just come out and shoot it out. Then they play defense. They have to build consistency if they're going to maintain this kind of pace.
Yeah. So the Nuggets face a challenging schedule with multiple stretches of 5 games in 7 days. How crucial do you believe that this December stretch will be for their playoff aspirations, especially with a key matchup against the Suns?
So looking at December, right? They finish out December with a 2-game series against the Suns. Not finish out. They have a couple games in the East after that, but the Suns are on the 23rd and the 25th. But it does look like they have a lot, and this is the thing about the NBA. The NBA, they crunch a lot of games into a short time frame.
Yeah.
So in the next 20 days, the next 18 days, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 8. They have 7 games, basically an every other night kind of thing going on there. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know what I mean? 8 games in 20 days is what they've got. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of wear and tear on a team like that. You know what I mean? Especially when you have a guy that's as big as Jokic. But that team, their core is still their core. It's been for the last couple of seasons. I feel like for a team like that, they just have to be consistent. Jokic is like a number 2 or number 3 scorer in the league. I mean, listen, Jokic is doing a triple-double in his averages. He's scoring 30 points a game, rebounding 13 a game, and over 10 assists a game, right? So that's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? They need to just do what they've done. Stay on this guy's back and keep pushing. Can they get a little more help from Porter and Murray? I think so. Both of those guys are not averaging 20 points a game. So I feel like they could pick it up a little bit. Westbrook is oddly enough been pretty good on that team so far. So maybe they can figure out what they can do with that guy to really, but going into January, this team wants to come at it. They want to come out of this month with I think in total, let me see. So for the full month, they have, I think, 11 games still. And right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they have 11 games left this month. They need to come out of that 11 games over 500. Like if they could come out of that 11 games like 7-4, they're in a pretty good position. You know, it kind of, it's tough to say though with a team like this. But they have Jokic, so I feel like if they stay healthy, they're going to be competitive down the stretch. You know, it's tough because like the league is designed now, they don't want good teams resting stars. Jokic is a star. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're 11-9 right now. They're over a 500 team. If they can come out of January or go into January with the 7-4 stretch this month, that leaves them at like 18-13. They're in a strong position, So and the West is good and bad, right? The bad part of the West is really bad. The good part of the West is really good. So they know they're going to have to compete with OKC, with the Mavericks, potentially Minnesota, right? So it's just a matter of kind of managing their roster at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It is. It's just, it's December. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of games. It's all.
And that's the thing. The NBA season, like 82 games, doesn't seem that baseball, but 82 games is a lot.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's 6:52. We're kind of late to it, but we always, my co-host is Canadian, so we always talk hockey. So let's get into the hockey season. And I just want to say before we jump into any questions, my Islanders what is going on? They are just not good, dude. Like, no. It's hard. Like, it's hard to be an Islanders fan right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say
but
that.
We're only talking about 5 games, so it's really going to be a quick bam, 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 bam on both hockey. So, in the matchup between Toronto Maple Leafs and Pittsburgh Penguins, how crucial do you think Sidney Crosby's performance will be as he's approaching his 1,300th game? And can he lead the Penguins to victory as they've struggled recently?
When is this game?
Will be Crosby.
Wait, when is this game?
That game is on Saturday.
Okay, because I was going to say, they're going to lose to the Rangers on Friday. So I think that, to piggyback off them, they're going into MSG on Friday, and, Shesterkin's going to be working. So you already know how I feel on that one. So going into Saturday, against a team like Toronto and being back in Pittsburgh, it's kind of huge, right? Sidney Crosby is still that guy for them. So
yeah. All it really is to him is just a milestone game. I don't think it really matters what he does. It's his 1,300th game. That's all that really is. It's just a milestone hitting.
And listen, it's a milestone game and it's home, right? Yeah. The NHL schedules the way they schedule, pretty intentional, just like all the leagues. They've got them playing at home against Toronto. I think, they're going to make it, the game's going to be about him. You know what I mean? I mean, he's the team leader anyway in points, so it's not going to be anything, I think, like out of the ordinary. But I think here's my question to you. Can Toronto go into his 1,300th game in Pittsburgh nonetheless and play spoiler?
Oh, yeah. Toronto's one of the best teams in the league right now, so it's going to happen.
Good chance, right?
Yeah, it's a good chance. So as St. Louis faces off against the Edmonton Oilers, what do you think is the key factors in determining the outcome of their first meeting this season, especially considering the Blues' recent success against the Oilers? But it's just the Oilers are on a downfall again. They always are on a downfall in December, and to keep teams taking advantage of this. So right now, the Oilers are not thinking straight. Last year, they had to win 16 games in a row to even get back in the playoffs. So the Oilers are being the Oilers again.
Yeah, I could see why you would say that. I
They're
mean,
having
listen,
they're having a Stanley Cup slump. Usually the losing team comes off and loses and then they don't go back in. It's only happened a few times in the last 20 years where a team has went back into Florida being one of them recently. But I don't see the Oilers making it back to the finals again. I really don't.
I mean, I can see why you would say that. So the Blues, right? The Blues they're a 500 team. They're nothing great, but they're tough.
No, but 500 teams tend to beat above 500 teams. You know what I mean? Like it happens. That's common in hockey.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I can't argue that point at all. I guess here's the question, right? And if the Blues come at it tonight, so they're playing Calgary tonight, I believe. Right? And so depending on how this game goes, Calgary's a good team. So this could kind of really, and here's what I want to say. Hold on, I'm jumping onto the Blues real quick. Schedule. This is what I'm curious about. I want to see what their last few games, right? So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're 3-2 in their last 5 games, and they dominated Winnipeg 4-1, right? Mm-hmm. They lost in overtime to Philly. They dominated the Rangers. They dominated New Jersey. So like
top tier team versus under tier team. See that's what
they lose to teams like the Islanders.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, right? And if they come out of this game with a win too, just based on how they've been playing, they tend to win a couple, lose one, win a couple, lose one. So it could go either way. But again, Edmonton's just kind of in a dive right now. So when a team's in a nosedive, you just got to take advantage of it, right? So I would take the Blues.
Yeah. Now, this is the one you're going to enjoy this question. With the New Jersey Devils taking on the New York Rangers on Monday, how important is this rivalry matchup for both teams as they look to solidify their position in the standings? And what players do you think will be pivotal in this game?
No. Hold on. You got it wrong. So they just played New Jersey this past Monday. New Jersey killed them. Next Monday, they got Chicago.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So no, but so just to really just jump on that though. Here's what I think. The rivalry in New York and New Jersey, it's a huge one. The Rangers are a very solid team. They're 13-10. Let me see. What is the Devils' record? What is the Devils' record? Let me just pull this up real quick. The Devils, let's see what we got here. The New Jersey Devils. What are you not going to give me the information I want now? 17-9-2, right? So the Devils have a commanding lead right now in the Metropolitan Division. That's a pretty, and the way that they beat up on the Rangers the last game, it's important for the Rangers to get it together this month because they will be playing the Devils again on the 23rd. And going into Christmas, you want to give New York a nice little present and do your job. Do your job. That's it. No other way to say that. But that rivalry is always heated. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's one of those big ones. You know what I mean? In the sport in general. I love that.
No, I wasn't sure. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So the next one I had against was Red Wings versus Boston. But like I said, I pre-wrote these questions. So that game happened. So, again, that would happen there. So the Red Wings were playing Boston on Tuesday. How do you see this matchup against the Bruins? And the Bruins won.
Yeah, well, here's the issue, I think, right now. Detroit's in a bit of a slump themselves, right? They're 10-12. They're on the bottom half of the division. They have not had an easy time this season. I'm not sure, do they have any, key injuries? not too much. Talbot's out. What's really hurting this team? I guess that's the question. What is goaltending looking like this season there? Right? So Talbot's out. Talbot's injured, but he's given up almost 3 goals a game. Now he's out. Now they've got Lyon starting. Lyon's giving up almost 3 goals a game. And then you got Husso, right? And Husso's 0-2. And so 3 goalies, all of them playing mid-level hockey at best. Between the okay, but the overall goals against average for that team is 3.16. You can't be giving up over 3 goals a game on average and expect to win, right? Unless you're just lights out with your scoring. So for a team like the Red Wings, like they have to find an answer off, defensively, really, right? That's what other way can you say it? They're having a real hard time. I don't know, you got some, who do they got on defense? Gustafson, Hansen, what's this guy's name? Chariot? Cherio? Ben Cherio?
Yeah.
They have some decent defenders, but it's not like, I don't know, man. Teams that are in the lower half at this point in the season, you kind of know how it is. Like you've already got a sense of who's going to be in the playoffs when it comes to hockey, right? And I don't think Detroit's going to make it there.
No. And same goes to the last question. I know what I did was I started from the 4th until next week, and a lot of these games already happened. So the last question is the same thing. Was Nashville visits Toronto on Wednesday, which was last night.
Okay, but now let's just take a look, right? So Nashville, where are the Nashville Predators? Let me see here. Here we go. So, whoa. Nashville's got 7 wins on the season.
Yeah.
That's the dregs of the dregs, man. There's nobody in the Eastern Conference that bad. The Islanders are the worst team in the East, and they have 9 wins. Yeah. That's 7 wins that's abysmal. They might be the worst team in hockey.
Yep. Blackhawks only have 1 more win than them.
So realistically, here's my question to you. You're the hockey guy. What does Nashville need to do to turn it around? To at least try and finish with a 500 record. They're bad, dude. They're awful bad.
And the worst part about that, just saying, is we've talked about this before. By now, the top 6 teams out of the 8 teams always make the playoffs.
And that's what I'm saying. We already kind of know who the playoffs are going to be in hockey, but now it's looking at teams like my Islanders, looking at Nashville, and seeing what these teams can do to just start to get it back together, or looking at the top, and seeing how they can just maintain that pace. Dude, I can't even they're so bad. How are they just not scoring? Because Saros is giving up 2.6 a game.
He's Saros, though. I love Saros, but he's not the goalie that they need.
Dude, he's playing terrible hockey.
He's always played terrible hockey. He was a backup for years. He's still, and then Saros came up after he took over the reins. But they needed a new goalie. They need a new goalie in there. Because Pene Renke is he was the reason why they made the finals a few years ago.
Listen,
it wasn't Saros. Saros was just Saros. It was just
now. And what about their offense? Their leader in goal scoring has 9 goals. What is going on?
It's because they're all around. Their team is all mid-level guys all together.
This is like a AAA team.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't, like, I didn't even realize they were this bad, dude. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait, what? This can't even, is this real? Like, bro, you're over 20 games into the season and your leading goal scorer doesn't even have 10 goals. Like,
no. Yeah, you can't produce goals, you ain't gonna win games.
Bro, like, they need to send this Swede Philip Forsberg back to Sweden, bro. Philippe, what are you, serious? Like, listen, man, I don't know what to say about stuff like this. Sometimes when I look at some of these stats, I'm like, I mean, you see the look on my face. I can't even, it's mind blowing. That's really, they're borderline, you know, and we'll see how the second half of the season plays out, but like, they are like the White Sox in hockey.
Yeah, they've always been bad, though. The Nashville Predators have been around since 2000, and they don't really have. They had 2 real good years in their 25 years. Like, it's just they're the pickup team every year.
You like how I just took an unnecessary dig at your White Sox? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so
I took a dig yesterday, but if you looked at the chat where I put Juan Soto in a fucking Sox jersey.
That's what I'm. Listen, I really think that's what's going to happen. Yo, just quick update before we jump off. Goff just threw that pick that he did not need to throw. It's 17-14, and now Green Bay has the ball inside the Detroit 50. Maybe inside their 30.
No, but what it wasn't Red Sox. It was a White Sox jersey I put him in.
Oh, it was. Oh, you know what? Listen, bro. Imagine if he went to the White Sox, like, I wouldn't even be mad at him. I'd just be like, dude, like, seriously? You went to the White Sox? Like,
the rumor is, or the joke rumor is, for Soto to go to the White Sox, Jerry would have to pay him $75 million a season.
Dude,
there's no way Soto's going to go there for less than 75.
I mean, why would you go there at all? Okay, so yo, Green Bay is inside the 15-yard line. Man, that pick was big. Goff did not need to do that when he did. But you know what? This could be that moment that Green Bay turns it around and takes this W. So we'll see what happens, man. Enjoy the second half of the game. I'm going to probably do the same. I appreciate your time as always. And guys, everybody, thanks for jumping on with We Like Sports at Vinny's Corner. Love having you guys here. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys.
Yeah.
Dude.